When a Hollywood legend sits across from one of late night's sharpest tongues, you expect quick wit and maybe a few playful jabs. But what happens when those jabs turn into barbs? Digging at a man's legacy, his voice, his politics, even his family? What unfolded on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert wasn't just an interview. It was a verbal cage match. By the end of the night, Sylvester Stallone wouldn't just be walking out of the studio. He'd be leaving Colbert with a stunned audience, a cold cup of coffee, and a silence that no punchline could fix. The band wrapped up their jazzy intro as Stephen Colbert stepped into the spotlight with his trademark grin. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight is a man who's punched, kicked, and exploded his way into cinema history, though some would argue it's mostly been the same movie over and over again. Please welcome Sylvester Stallone. The audience roared as Stallone emerged from backstage in a perfectly tailored black suit. He gave a small wave, his smile modest but confident. Colbert met him at the desk with an exaggerated handshake. "Sly, welcome to the show. I have to admit, seeing you here is a little surreal. I mean, Rocky and Rambo sitting in my studio, that's pretty much your resume, right?" There were chuckles from the audience. Stallone's smile tightened a fraction. "Well, those films did a little more than pay the bills," he said, voice growly but warm. "They connected with people." Colbert leaned back in mock contemplation. Sure. And aside from 30 or 40 years of doing those two guys, have you done anything else the Academy missed?" The crowd gave an awkward laugh. Stallone tilted his head, the corner of his mouth curling into something between amusement and warning. "I guess you missed Creed and Copland and a few others that didn't involve headbands or boxing gloves." Colbert smiled like he'd landed a point. "Touché, but come on, you've got to admit, most people see you and think of one thing. Big muscles, big guns, not a lot of, how do I put it, Shakespeare." "Yeah, well," Stallone said, leaning forward slightly, "Shakespeare never took a body blow from Apollo Creed." The audience erupted in laughter, but his eyes stayed locked on Coors. The host smirked. "Fair enough, but you've got that distinctive way of talking. You know, that slow, slurred Stallone thing. Ever been tempted to hire a voice coach? Or do you just figure, hey, the mumble made me millions. Why fix it?" The air in the studio shifted. The laughter was thinner now. "It's called a facial nerve injury from birth," Stallone said evenly. "Doctors messed up with the forceps. People laughed at me my whole life for the way I speak. I guess I should thank them. It made me fight harder." Colbert nodded slowly, his smirk dimming, but then tried to recover. Right. "And now here you are still doing action movies, even though some critics say you're just milking nostalgia." "I tell stories people care about," Stallone replied.